Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Caitlin and I love to read. I have been a Book of the Month subscriber since 2018. Book of the Month is a curated service that selects 5 to 7 books every month of all different genres and allows you to get a hardback novel at a heavily discounted price. Each year, Book of the Month selects 5 nominees for this award that they call the Book of the Month, Book of the Year award. The 5 nominated novels this year were Hart by Emily Habeck, None of This Is True by Jewell, Weyward by Emilia Hart, The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer, and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Once the Book of the Year has been picked, they allow members of a certain tier to get any of the 5 novels for free. And so today I'm going to talk about the 5 nominees from last year, let you know the synopsis for each, and then recommendations, who I think would like the book, who I think would not like the book. The book of the year was just picked last week, and it was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. The first novel I want to talk about is Hart. It's a magical realism novel about a newlywed couple. Ren, who is the wife, is practical and grounded, and Louis, the husband, is an artist and a dreamer. Soon after they get married, Louis notices that his nose gets soft and squishy. This concerns him, so he goes to seek medical attention. He gets a lot of tests done by a lot of different doctors, and it turns out that he has a mutation that is slowly turning him into a great white shark. You see, in this book, people can carry mutations that turn them into animals. All of these transformations are incurable and irreversible. So we watch from the perspective of both Louis, the patient, and Ren, his caretaker and wife, as he slowly physically transforms, and so does their marriage. This is a beautiful and tender story about love and grief and change, and I cried my little eyes out over this fictional man who was turning into a great white shark. I would recommend this novel if you want to get your heart broken in a safe space, or if you want to read a quirky and poetic novel about rebirth after tragedy. I would also recommend this novel if you were a fan of the 1990s hit TV series Animorphs. I would not recommend this novel if you can't suspend your disbelief enough to feel sad over a man that's turning into a great white shark. When I told my fiance about this book and how I cried all day, he laughed in my face. I also don't think you would be a big fan of this if you don't like short novels that read like poetry. Sometimes there will only be a sentence or two on each page. And the second nominee is None of This Is True, which is a psychological thriller about 2 women that were born on the same day in the same hospital and cross paths. They both meet in a bar on their 45th birthday, and they discover that they're birthday twins. Now, aside from the shared birthday, they have almost nothing in common. Alex Summers is beautiful, she's wealthy, she has a seemingly perfect social life and family, and she's a successful podcaster. The podcast she hosts is called All Women, and it chronicles success stories, second chances, and triumphs of local women in the area. Now, Josie Fair, on the other hand, is the other birthday twin, and she is intense and odd. Josie is married to a much older man. When she sees Alex and how glamorous she is, she becomes fascinated by her, their shared birthday, and how different their lives are. Josie approaches Alex a few days after their first encounter and comes to her with the proposition that Alex should make her next podcast about Josie because Josie is about to change her own life. This book starts ominously with a lot of suspense and quickly becomes very dark and twisty. I would recommend this if you like really fast-paced thrillers with minimal gore. If you are somebody who likes crime podcasts, or you're like a true crime junkie, or if you like Lisa Jewell's other books, I think that this is one of her stronger novels. If you are somebody who is triggered by grooming and by alcoholism, this book is not going to be for you. I also don't think this is for people who like the ending to have a nice little bow wrapped on it. And maybe if you just started making some new female friends, pump the brakes on this book. The third nominee is Weyward, which is a magical realism book that follows 3 different women across time. In 1619, a woman named Altha is on trial for witchcraft after witnessing her neighbor, a farmer, getting trampled by cows. In 1942, Violet is an unusual teenager who lives with her father and brother in a manor. She deals with loneliness, she struggles to fit into this mold of a proper lady, and she has longing to know more about her deceased and very mysterious mother. In 2019, Kate runs away from her very controlling and abusive husband before he has a chance to find out that she's pregnant. She escapes to her great aunt's cottage and tries to survive with her baby and stay hidden. All I can say is this book is well written and has a beautiful cover, but for me it is the resounding least favorite of the nominees because of the incessant themes of abuse. Every single woman is brutalized by a man in this book. It's supposed to be this uplifting story of feminism in the face of adversity, but for me, it was just depressing. The next nominee is The Wishing Game. This is a fictional book about 26-year-old Lucy Hart, who is a kindergarten aide, and her big dream is to adopt the 7-year-old orphan named Christopher. When Lucy was 13, she ran away from home to Clock Island, which is a residence of this famous child book author named Jack Masterson. She was just enraptured by his fantasy books when she was a kid, and she thought that meeting him would solve all of her problems. However, when he finds her, he sends her back home to her folks. Now, in the present day, when she's 26, he invites Lucy and 3 other children who had previously run away to the island back to Clock Island for a competition. He has them participate in certain games and answer riddles, and the winner of these games will have the full rights to his final Clock Island series book, which is worth its weight in gold. I would recommend this book if you are a fan of Willy Wonka because it's very reminiscent of that story. This book is super whimsical, sweet, very cozy and charming, so if that sounds good to you, go for it. Now, it does read very juvenile, so if you are not a fan of overly sweet books or like young adult books, it's not going to be for you. I also thought that Lucy's dream of being Christopher's mom when she was wildly unqualified was a little weird, but otherwise, it was a good book, super sweet. I liked it. Okay, so the final nominee and the book of the year for 2023 is Yours Truly. This is a romance novel that's second in a series, but it really feels like a standalone book to me. So if you haven't read the first one, I didn't either. I think it's fine just to pick up here. So this is about Brianna Ortiz, who is a recently divorced ER physician and also the primary caretaker of her younger brother. Her brother has an autoimmune disease and he is in urgent need of a kidney donor, but so far they haven't found a match. Now, at the same time, she is gunning for a job promotion against another doctor, a new doctor, Dr. Jacob Maddox. Jacob is an anxious but very capable physician who is dealing with some family problems of his own. His brother is now marrying Jacob's longtime ex-girlfriend. After Brianna and Jacob get off on the wrong foot, Jacob writes Brianna a letter, and the two continue to correspond every day. They get to know each other through their letters, and their workplace rivalry just develops into something else entirely. You would like this book if you like medical romances like Grey's Anatomy, if you like tropes like fake dating and like rivals to lovers. I wouldn't recommend this if you are a fan of romance novels where the guy is like a big, strong, tough, burly alpha male. Jacob is not that. He's like a sweet little cinnamon bun. We love him. And if you hate miscommunication tropes, you're going to see a lot of them in this book. Overall, it's apples and oranges. We have a romance, we have a thriller, we've got some magical realism and fiction. Weyward was obviously the clear least favorite for me, but otherwise I liked all four. So I hope you like my recommendations. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you had fun joining me. Please subscribe if you did, and I'll see you soon.